Welcome back, drifters. So, as you guys may know if you've watched yesterday's video, the garage is a total and utter nightmare. And the problem is I need to get this place cleaned up because if we ever want to get started on that Mustang, I gotta have enough space to put it. And right now, we can barely fit the Miata in here. I mean, it's packed in here with a bunch of crap and it's all in the way. And I gotta kind of figure out how we're gonna be able to fit the Mustang in here. But also, I've been dealing with some issues with the RX7. It was like a weekend or two ago, we went to a drift event, and it was just, it didn't go very well. So we were out at the event, it was Club Loose, and we were having some problems with the RX7. I couldn't get it to start. My starter kept clicking. I'd go to start it, and it would just go click, click, click. And so I thought, well, maybe it's a bad ground. So I went in here, and I did a whole new ground, and it's hooked up in there. And I'm getting full voltage out of the battery, no problem. So we have a good ground. And I mean, it's 1 gauge wire. So it's definitely not like cheap, chintzy wire. It's good wire. But needless to say, it was still having problems. So we eventually resorted to literally push starting the car. Because it was the only way we could get it to start. Because the starter was just not engaging. And then we had some other issues happen. I lost my brakes. So yeah, my brakes basically went out. I had nothing. The only way I could stop was with the e-brake because it was run by cable. Which for drifting, that's not really a big issue, but when you're waiting in line and you're almost rear-ending everybody in front of you, it's kind of a problem. And then the very last thing that we had happen was we were sitting in line and I had to keep it idling because my starter was broken. So I'm just sitting there idling and the temperature's just slowly climbing because we're running a mechanical water pump. And then we finally get to run and it does fine. I'm only reading like 200 degrees for temperature, which, I mean, it's a little high, but it's not bad. And then the radiator basically goes kaput. The overflow bottle exploded, everything just went whoosh. And it basically, I don't want to say it overheated because technically the temperature was fine. But the overflow basically exploded. I'm thinking there was air in the system. Same problem we were having almost a year ago where it just traps air and yeah, it just becomes a big problem. So it was like the triple threat. And to top it all off, I had one run in the RX7. And it was a really good run. My camera overheated. Like literally, I had it sitting in a beautiful spot. It was going to be a beautiful shot. And because we were just sitting in line, it was like 100 degrees, the camera overheated, and I couldn't get it to record during the run. So the only footage I have of the run is I think my dad did on his cell phone. And that's kind of why I've been like debating whether or not to even put out that video because there's almost like no content in it. And I don't like putting out stuff like that. But if you guys want to see that, I'll put it together and make a little like short clip of all that. But basically, me and Austin have been really reevaluating what we're going to do because when you spend that kind of money to go and drive and you get one lap, that's kind of a problem. And I'll tell you guys about Austin's car a little bit later. Today, I want to get fixing what's wrong with the RX-7 because it's cheap fixes. It's stuff that's not that bad to do. I already got stuff. I think the starter problem is shims. I think that it's just not shimmed properly, so it's not engaging, and it's not actually, like, I think the click we're hearing is it's going click, and it's getting stuck. And it's not wanting to engage properly. So we're going to try shimming the starter and see if that fixes that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on today. First thing I need to do though is get Austin's car out of the garage so I can get it cleaned up because we got to have space. My goal is to get this done as quickly as possible because I really want to get this out for you guys today. So I'm trying to up my frequency with the uploads. It's a learning curve for me and it's a bit of a challenge, but we're getting there. So we'll see what we can do. I'm going to get it done and yeah, see you now.
So guys, I want to try something a little bit different today. And I want to have a little time-lapse chat with you. So while the old me is in there cleaning the garage, I want to talk to you about depression. Depression is one of those things that I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding as to what it is. They seem to think that it's, oh, I'm down, I'm sad, woe is me, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, that's part of it. But the other part is that sometimes it can be so bad that you don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. Almost nearly every day is like that for me. But yet, I find things that get me out of bed. Today, it just happened to be cleaning my garage. And it started, like, when I first started today, I did not want to do it. It was hot, I was sweating, I was burning up. I was not motivated to get to cleaning. But once I started cleaning, I got into it. I started, like, really getting deep into it. I mean, to the point that I'm literally on my hands and knees scrubbing off dirt and oil and stuff. I mean, but something so simple as that can help clear out a lot of the bad negative thoughts that have been going on inside my head, because I'm not thinking about anything besides literally just cleaning the floor. I'm not worried about, people trying to break in or anything bad happening to me. I'm just cleaning the floor. So sometimes when I'm dealing with depression and it's really getting to me, I find little tasks like that just to get me going. And I just take that momentum and keep moving with it as much as I can.
So how'd you guys enjoy that little time-lapse chat, as they say? I'm just trying something new. I know the garage isn't exactly perfect yet, but I definitely cleared up a lot more space. There's a little bit more of a echo. A little bit more echo now. But man, let me tell you, doing that, cleaning up that crap from when Austin did the with the plastic and the rubber when we did the diff, it's still in places. Like, I'm still trying to get it up. It is just, it's a nightmare to clean up. Like, oh my God. I don't even want to touch the workbench. Like, it's covered in it. I don't know how I'm going to get it out of the wood. I think it's just going to stay there, and I'm going to have to, like, put something over it or something, because it's bad. So I'm going to go get a quick bite to eat, cool off, regroup, and then I'm going to pull the RX7 in, and we'll start working on the starter and seeing if we can fix a couple of little issues we're having. So, yeah. See if we get lucky and see if this thing actually cranks. Normally this thing just goes click. Yeah, see, you hear that? Listen. And look, our voltage is fine. Watch the volts when I click it. They don't even drop. So that's why I'm definitely thinking that it's more of a mechanical issue than an actual electrical issue, because we've got great grounds, I've got good relays and fuses and everything set up properly. I'm just more leaning towards this as a mechanical issue where it's like going to engage the gear and just binding up. I don't know, I could be wrong. What sucks is that this thing is on my driveway, which is a hill, so actually I may have to move it. You know what? Let's see if we can kickstart this sucker just in the little bit of space we have to roll down the driveway. This could be a bad idea, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Yep, that was a dumb idea. Got a fuel leak. Thing was dripping fuel. Holy crap. I just wanted to get it in before it started going, but you can see, look, it's leaking right out there. There's like residual fuel. I'm not sure exactly where it's coming from, but something's leaking. So, but hey, we got it in the garage. So you know what? No matter how stupid it was, it worked. So as you saw there, the starter actually worked for some weird reason, but it sounded really weird. Sounded like it was really struggling to crank that sucker over, which that's kind of odd because, I mean, it is a higher compression engine. When we built it, it was fully forged and everything like that, and we made it to have more compression. So, but I've got a high torque mini starter thing. It's good for up to like 13-to-1 compression. So the starter should be fine. It's something else. So we're gonna find out though. But that fuel leak is concerning. We're gonna have to definitely address that at some point. I always forget just how much work has been done on this car. Like, you don't see all of the great stuff that's been done under here because it's all hidden away and the car on the outside looks like junk. But I mean, there's some really good shit on this car. Under here, this is the starter right here. So in here I was looking at the mesh pattern. I can't really get anything in there because there's not a lot of room for it. When I was looking at the actual gear, you could see that it was engaging too deep. I'll try to see if I can get a picture of it. Okay, let's see if we can see there. You can see the mesh pattern. You can see that it's engaging almost all the way onto the gear. So we definitely need to shim it. Luckily it's a GM and it takes 2 bolts to get it out. It's just the wires that's kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm gonna work on pulling the starter so we can get this thing shimmed. I got the mic a little dirty, but oh well. We'll get this sucker out of here. Oh, that's crazy. That bolt's wet. Whew. Alright, that's a starter. Whew. So this is the starter here, and I'm looking at this, and it looks like I've already shimmed this. If you look right around here, you can see that there's two little shims. The shims look something like this, and that's to adjust the depth of the gear. So you got your gear right there, and you can see that that is how it's going to judge the depth based on those shims. The fact that I have two in there right now is kind of concerning, because that means that I've already shimmed it that way. There was none on top, which that might be more the issue than anything. Because I was looking at this, and the way that you check the depth is, normally you check the depth with it on the car and everything like that, but it's a pain in the ass because there's not a lot of room. You move this gear out, but luckily because this thing's been used, you can see where the pattern is. You can see there where the wear pattern is. And it's supposed to go about 3/4 of the way, and it looks good. Like, that's about, it's a little bit more than 3/4, but I think if we shimmed it any, it would get like 50%, which is not good. So I think what we might do is we might try the shimming from the top, which is where you use one of these suckers. And they've got different thicknesses, but you shouldn't need more than two, or at least that's typically how it works out on a small block Chevy. The only other shim we got is something like this, which goes in the centerpiece here, which could also potentially help. But looking at this engagement, it looks like it's actually okay. I'm thinking it's more a matter of that it's not meshing because it's just too tight. So by adding these shims, it should drop it enough to where it'll engage like it's supposed to, and we won't get that click, click, where it's basically, when you get the click, it's like this gear is literally smashing up against the flywheel, and it's going like this, but it's not meshing. So if this gear never gets a chance to mesh with the flywheel, it's just hitting it like this. It's going to hit it. It might not even go all the way out. It might just get to here, and then that's it, and then it just goes back. And that's that click, click, click. So by dropping the starter down, so normally the starter would sit up in here, something like this. This is the engine block. So this tooth here is essentially not quite lining up with the flywheel, which is going to set up here. And so when it goes to kick out and engage, if it's too high up, it's going to hit it, and that's going to go click, 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 click. So we add shims to kind of bring it down, and then now it'll engage. But we have to find the right point. So we have to find the point where it engages enough to work and not grind the gears, but also not too tight that it doesn't fit. So that may be part of the reason why we've been having so many starting issues. We'll see. So I'm going to get to adding some shims, and we'll just see if it makes a difference. And if we can get it to start over every single time without fail, then I'm going to call it as good. And then we'll move on to the next thing. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this up there with just one shim on the top. It's kind of tricky because I'm doing it by myself. And I'm just making sure that it's clean in between the block and where this mounts, because that's the ground. It grounds like directly to it, so it's got to be a good connection. And we'll see. Hopefully this fixes the problem. I don't know if it will, but we're going to definitely give it a shot. Oh, thank God. This starter is light. But thank God it's not a heavier starter. The old school Chevy small block starters, the ones that came on like the C10s and stuff, they were easily like 50 pounds. Like, this starter is nothing compared to that, which is awesome. So I had to pull the starter back out. I found something kind of troublesome. Hey, Louie. So it may be kind of hard to see, but that's chunks of my flywheel that's chipping off from the starter engaging it wrong. So that's probably also part of the problem right there. You can see like where it was smashing it and not actually engaging. So yeah. Basically what I discovered is that the rain gear and the gear on the starter was too far away. Like, it's supposed to be between 40 thousandths and 1 thousandths apart, and it was like probably it would be like 0.150 would be the equivalent. So it was too far away, so that could have been part of the problem too. So I'm going to pull one of the shims, remeasure it, do all that fun stuff, and then we'll see where we're at. And then hopefully maybe this will fix our problem. I don't know, but let's find out. Removing these shims is easy. It just takes a screwdriver. There's a couple screws in there. This plate pops off, and then we'll be able to get to it. I'm just going to pop these out, hopefully without stripping them. Might be this, that they're already stripped. They are. I must have stripped them when I took them out the first time. That's not good. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, what was I doing? Oh man, it's so stripped, I can't even get this in there. Like, it's so... I may have to drill it out. That's not good. That's not good. Okay, so I have a slight issue. Those things are stripped beyond stripped, and I'm not going to put it on knowing that it's wrong. So, what I'm going to have to do is go to Lowe's and go pick up me a drill. Pick up me a drill. Well, I lent my drill to Chris, and haven't seen it back in months. Probably not getting it back, but it's cool. So I'm going to go get myself another drill because I have to try to get these stripped-ass bolts out. And I'm not going to be able to do it without a power drill. So I'm going to go do that, pick that up, come back, and hopefully then we'll be able to get this thing going. So I'm going to go do that real quick, and I'll be right back. Power drills are not cheap. Let me tell you, I wish I would have brought the camera with me because I was going around a corner, and I just heard this loud pow, and then my power steering pump in the truck, it just goes, and next thing you know, I've got no power steering fluid. So whatever was bad in my power steering lines on my truck just completely decided to give it the shit today. So tomorrow I may be working on my truck. So yeah, just how it goes sometimes. But I'm going to get back to this. So now we're going to take our new drill and start drilling out those screws, which I was thinking about this. I was like, well, I don't even know if I have replacement screws, but I'm sure it can't be that uncommon of a thread. If not, we'll just tap it and make something work. So I'll get started drilling these out. I love new power tools. No, it's a little throwback to Home Improvement. Made in America, so you know it's made right. Alright, so now let's see if we can get these things out with my trusty speed out bit. Hey, God, I love this tool. This tool works too good. I've had so many stuck bolts that this thing has gotten out, I swear. Probably one of the best tools I've bought in a long time, and it was cheap. Well, pow, there it is. Done and done. Now I just need to get this sucker out, if I can. It didn't work. I stripped the crap out of it, so now I gotta do this again. Yay. I just bought the drill, and I already lost the chuck. How do I do this? Found it. It was right in front of my face, like usual. That is such soft metal. Holy cow. Hey. Did we get it? Ah, there we go. Hell yeah. This tool is amazing. Seriously, if you guys haven't got one of these tools yet, seriously, if you're doing any kind of automotive stuff, you're bound to strip something, I'm telling you. I don't rep brands unless if I know that they work. And I've used these things multiple times. I've had it in my videos and all that. I like these people. They make some good shit. It's worked for me multiple times. It hasn't failed me yet, and it's pretty cheap actually. So yeah, that's a good ass tool. I'll say that. That's some good stuff right there. I love this tool. Sucks that I had to break another screw, but whatever. Now that fiasco's done, I should be able to pop this off. Oh, no, one more retaining bolt in here. It's just a little Allen bolt in there. It's weird though, because it's a 4.5. Like a 4 wouldn't fit, a 4 wouldn't fit, and a 5 wouldn't fit. But a 4.5 would. But anyway, I'm just going to pop this off. I'm going to adjust some of the shims and see if we can get this set right. And then I got to find some screws to replace the ones that we broke. So hopefully I have some sitting around somewhere. There we go. I think I had this thing all shimmed out. Jeez, how many shims did I put in this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4. No wonder it was sitting so far away. There's like 5 shims in this thing. Alright, well, I'm going to address this and then we'll get back to it. Well, I got some bad news. I don't have a bolt that fits like this, so I'm going to take this to the store and see if I can find 2 bolts like this. Because I can't really check anything else without these bolts, because I need to be able to know the clearances, and I can't do it without bolting it all up. So I'm going to go to the store again, and I'll be back now. So guys, funny story. I managed to get the things I needed. They didn't have exactly the right size bolts, but I got some things that were close. But I also happened to run into somebody that I hadn't talked to in a few months, and they were building a C10, go figure, because, you know, it's funny because I don't really know that many people or talk to that many people, so it's nice when I meet some people that are genuinely nice like that, and sometimes I don't know how to handle people being nice to me. So it's kind of, it was nice though. It was good. Well, I screwed up, and I got the wrong size, so now we're going to resort to this. Yeah. Wish me luck. Well, this is either going to be good or this is going to be bad. Good thing aluminum's really soft. Well, let's see if it threads. It appears to thread. Just going to pop this sucker together real quick and then we'll just throw it on there and see if it works. Alright, got it on there. So let's go see how this baby does. You can see there I got them on. Seems to be on there pretty tight, and now that it's not shimmed so far, we might be able to actually get the clearance that we need. So I'm going to put the 2 shims up top. Well, probably just one. I'm going to put the shim up top, and then we'll bolt it up and see how the clearances look and see if it spins. I hope this fixes it. Alright, so I got the wires hooked up, the starters hooked up, so let's go turn it on. We're going to just see if it'll crank. That's all I want to do. I don't want to test anything else. I just want to know if it's going to crank or if we're going to have any problems. Hopefully not. Let's find out. Alright, time for the moment of truth. That's a good sign. Hell yeah, I'm gonna definitely call that a win. Get my hat. Definitely calling that a win. The starter's working. I just cranked it like 6 times, no problems. Hey, we got 2 big things accomplished today. 1, we fixed our starting issue, and 2, well, we have a clean garage that we just managed to make dirty again, but you know, overall it could be worse. But anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for persevering with me as I fight through this battle, which turned out that we actually were victorious today. So I really appreciate you guys for sticking through it, and I'll be sure to catch you all in the next one. Just remember, keep it nice and easy.
So if you guys managed to make it this far into the video, why don't you consider subscribing, because I got a lot more content coming.